Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. Today we're talking with Jon O'Neil. He's an Army and Air Force veteran, a financial services professional looking to leave people better off than before he met them with their financial wellnesses. He's been doing this for over 10 years. So good morning, John. How you doing?
Doing well, Anthony, and how are you doing today?
I can't complain. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area,
Okay.
Texas.
How long have you been there?
I moved there in 2009. I lived in Los Angeles and relocated here for better cost of living. I would say to improve the traffic, but now there are so many people moving here that it is getting a lot of traffic as well.
Yeah, you just beat it there. Now it's coming in after you.
Yeah, yeah.
I got you. So what's fun down there? What do you do for fun?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard about dine-in movie theaters, but it's those theaters where you're able to go and get a full meal, not just popcorn and nachos, but I'm talking about fish and chicken, what have you. So I really like that experience. It seems to be really popular here. A lot of theaters have adopted that practice. We even have an AMC that converted part of their theater to accommodate this style. So that's one of the things I enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. We have one up here too. You can go in.
Okay.
It's part of a brewery too, so you can order beer, which is something special at a movie theater, being able to drink
Yes.
a beer and enjoy the movie. So awesome, awesome. So what can you tell us about what you do?
Well, just to give you a quick background, I started off in college as a chemistry with physics major, and I wanted to be a doctor. But then I went to the Army as a medic. I transitioned to the Air Force as a scientist. And then when I got out, I decided to change career fields, went into business and finance. And the reason I did that was with the same intent I had when I wanted to become a doctor. And that is to leave people better than they came, but in their financial wellness. So then I got into financial services as I started as a financial advisor over 10 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I established my own business, and it was to work with small business owners and individuals to help them to build their cash flow and their net worth by eliminating all debt, starting with their mortgage, credit cards, student loans, everything. No, and eliminate that in 10 years or less without any extra spending. So when you think that you could have a mortgage, could take you over 30 years to get rid of, including credit cards, everything, we are able to help eliminate that in 10 years or less. And of course, this saves you a lot of interest, saves you on taxes. You're able even to self-fund purchases in the future by paying your own bank.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, that's an awesome thing because there's so many people out there that are struggling with debt. At least having a roadmap and knowing that you can get out of it sooner and see the cost savings because it's easy math at that point. It's like if I could save, 20 years off of this, how much is that going to save me longer? And that's huge. But just to go back a little bit, what does a scientist do in the Air Force? I'm a little bit ignorant to it. I know your normal MOS is like, hey, I was artillery, hey, I did XYZ, I drove a truck. What does a scientist do in the Air Force?
Well, I worked with a product that goes into unmanned aerial vehicle. That's those vehicles, those planes that those doesn't have a pilot. So the idea is when a plane goes high enough, it becomes very cold in the atmosphere, and that could cause your fuel to freeze. If your fuel freezes and it does not, or fuel freezes, excuse me, then your plane could fall out of the sky because fuel is not going through the whole engine system. We created an additive to put inside of the fuel to cause it to continue to flow at high altitudes. So this is one of the things I worked on as a scientist in the Air Force.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. That's not your typical response to hear something. So awesome. That's awesome. So I guess what was it about, looking at helping people get out of debt that transitioned you? Because that's a big change going from I'm a scientist for the Air Force to I'm going to help you pay off your mortgage in 10 years or less without spending extra money. How do you make that transition?
It's funny you should ask because a lot of our desire to make a difference or help in a particular area comes from our own pain. And years ago, I was on track with my wife and I to be in debt for over 50 years just because we accumulated consumer and business debt. And what we are trying to do is just build a business to be debt free ourselves, to have a better lifestyle, and what have you. And we discovered a method, this one I'm referring to, that was able to significantly change the speed at which we got there. And that would change the trajectory of our lives, basically, because rather than trying to operate in a certain type of box for years on end, over a decade, multiple decades, as a matter of fact, now we are able to be on track to get rid of our debt in less than 7 years.
That's
We
awesome.
found this and thought to ourselves that we have to share this. So I decided to become an ambassador for this technique. And I think it is needed because I also have a blog that I publish weekly on Wednesdays called Wealth Wednesdays. And a few weeks ago, I was doing some research on my particular topic, which talked about debt. And I learned that the country is over 35 trillion in debt. You have consumer debt that is well over 17 trillion. A lot of it coming from mortgage and credit cards, student loans, and so on. So there's a huge epidemic when it comes to debt. And a lot of people think that they are basically supposed to be in debt, right? This is what we are taught. This is what is advertised. And they think that I don't see how I'm going to get out. Probably I'm stuck here, especially with my income. In other words, if I have to get out of debt, be in a better position, I have to get a lot more money, a lot more income. We are saying that's not the case. With your current income, you could actually become debt free and change your financial trajectory.
Yeah, that's hugely impactful. So this next question, what is the, your favorite thing about what you do? I imagine I can put my finger on it, but just in your words.
I think making that difference. Think of a person who comes in, feels hopeless, and then leaves feeling hopeful, seeing a different future for themselves, being knowing that I could make that impact. Absolutely is a thrill.
Okay. And then, you've been doing, financial services for 10 years. If you could go back 10 years ago, what would you do different, to what you know now?
I would start this process faster. I
Yeah.
would definitely start faster because I feel I am able to create a greater impact now. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I got to service their high net worth clients, people with not so much money. And what I saw is people at retirement age and close to retirement age we are talking about less than 100,000, in some cases less than 50,000 after working all those years in their savings, and they are just in no position to retire. I'm sure you and your audience have seen the same. Perhaps you've gone to Walmart, perhaps you've gone to a restaurant, and you see people who are seniors. They should be thinking about retirement, but unfortunately, they still have to continue to work just because they found themselves in all of this debt.
Yeah, and you're not wrong there. Less and less people can retire, less and less people that have retired are having to go back. So you're not wrong. If somebody's starting out wanting to do what you do now, what would be the advice you'd give them for somebody fresh coming into this?
I think the first thing is assessing where you are. And it may seem simplistic. In other words, a lot of people, they may spend their money, they have the expenses plus other stuff. It might be emotional spending, we call it. In other words, you may have a promotion or you had a deal that went through, your kids did great in school, or perhaps you've had a great week and you just want to celebrate. But then at the end of, say, your pay period, next pay cycle, you look at your paycheck, look at your bank account, and you think, wow, where did the money go? Right? Because you have certain things you didn't really account for. You didn't think that they would cost that much. You didn't anticipate some other emergency or emotional spending that would show up. Well, the thing is, if you understand where you are, so that's where our free consultation comes in. We're able to show you that, okay, based on your numbers, your expenses, your interest rate, how much you actually pay to your creditors, what is the minimum payment, this is what it would take to get you out of debt within a particular time. Our consultation actually shows you a case study of this. But when we examine your numbers, we are able to see what is going to do for you, what your schedule looks like. The first step then would be a free consultation.
Okay. And then if somebody is, a financial professional and wants to add like your kind of services, where do you recommend that they start?
Contact me. I'd be happy to go into some more information. Happy to give them sort of an overview of the program. You could visit me on my website. We're talking about pasturewealth.life. My phone number is 972-638-7653. My email is john@pasturewealth.life. So that's JON, no H there, at pasturewealth.life.
Okay. Awesome. And then, what does a typical power partner look like for you? So somebody that you might be able to refer back and forth well with.
Power partner would be any other person or business owner that deals with a group of individuals that have to deal with money. For example, an accountant or CPA, small business owners, an attorney, even ministers of the clergy, those people who expose or interact with a lot of people who have some income, care about improved finances.
Okay. Is there anything that I failed to ask that you wanted to get out there to folks? Anything I missed?
Yes. And that is, we have three concepts that we look at: mindset, money, and then multiply. The mindset is believing that you can do this, you can change your trajectory, you can actually be out of debt. The money part is having a system, a program that would allow you to do this even on a tax-free basis. I prefer I prefer paying no taxes or significantly lowering my taxes.
You
Who
and me
wouldn't
both.
want to do who wouldn't want to do that? And the next thing is multiplying. After you start to generate more cash flow for yourself, how are you going to multiply that, maximize that to make sure you have a goal on retirement years, a wealthy position for you? It may be traveling, it may be contributing more, it may be just making a special purchase. We have those systems in place, those phases. We'd be happy to go through that with you. Just contact me.
Okay. And then outside of your phone number, email, and website, do you have any social medias that you like people to connect with you on or want you to have them follow you on?
I'm on LinkedIn. It's Jonathan.O'Neil is my full name. So I'm on linkedin.com/Jonathan O'Neil.
Okay. And I'll be sure to share that in the description and everything. So perfect. Awesome. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with John, he's a nice guy. I've met with him a couple times now, and he's exactly the same on here as he is as he is off of here. So feel free to reach out to him if you are a little bit more shy and you want an introduction after watching this, ask me. I'll be more than happy to make that three-way connection with you. But if anybody else out there would like to be interviewed, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on X at I know a guy _. But thanks for your time, John. I hope you have an awesome day, and let's all get out there and meet some people. All right.
Sounds good. Andrew, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. Take care.